The following program is suitable for general audience of any age.
Tonight, we discuss the legal fundamentals of insurance laws in Sri Lanka. Is the existing legislature adequate in protecting rights of policyholders, and what are the key lapses in knowledge? A very good evening and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of Law, Land and Liberty here on Derana News channel, where we bring to you the key legal concepts and break it down for the layman. Today's topic is something that I feel like we should have touched upon much earlier on in our programming, considering just how much it affects every single one of us that may have come into contact with unfortunate situations, and just for security and assurance for future purposes. That's relating to insurance law, especially considering the current times that we're in. It's a little bit of a contentious topic, but today we're not trying to get into any specifics, rather to help understand the fundamentals and the basics of what insurance law actually entails in the Sri Lankan context. And to do this, we have someone that is a new face on the program, and I'm very pleased to invite someone that will be able to give us the full coverage on the entirety of the fundamentals. That is Ms. Nirosha Perera, attorney at law. Thank you, ma'am, so much for coming to the studio despite your busy schedule to try and help the viewers understand exactly what the basics of insurance law is. Before we get into the topic in itself, a little bit of an introduction. Ms. Perera, as an attorney, is an individual with exactly 25 years of experience when it comes to the insurance sector. So safe to say we're in very good hands when it comes to understanding some of the nitty-gritties and the contextual issues that we see arising when it comes to insurance policies and the law in itself. Here is how we're going to break down the entire topic. First, we'll be getting into the fundamentals of the legal framework that we have that's already in place. Next, we'll be getting into the current context, specifically about obligations and also dispute handling when it comes to whatever disagreements that may occur. And finally, we'll be looking a little bit into the future relating to what we can expect to see as developments moving forward in this field in Sri Lanka.
Hello, I'm Ashant Silva. I'm an assistant lecturer from University of Colombo. So my question is on the fundamental, what laws govern insurance policies in Sri Lanka?
All right, well, without any further ado, we have quite a bit to cover, so we should get right into it. Thank you once again, ma'am. Looking forward to a very insightful discussion. Before we get into any of the specifics that we should be talking about, I think it's important for us and our viewers to understand exactly what insurance law is. Can you help us understand in Sri Lanka's context, specifically the legal definition of insurance and what that entails?
First of all, let me thank TV Derana and Radhi for the kind invitation today. But before commencing our discussion, I would like to clarify. So the ideas, the views that I expressed today, shared by me today, is in my personal capacity. So insurance is a contractual arrangement between basically the two parties. So who are these two parties? The person requests the insurance policy or other insurance cover, we call it as the insured. And the company who grants the insurance policy, we call it as the insurer. So in order to give an insurance cover, insurance company will charge a fee. So like any other contract, there should be a consideration. The payment that insurance company charges, that we call it as a premium. So basically, it's a contractual arrangement in which one party, the insurer, in return for the premium paid by the insured, agrees to compensate when there is a loss or a damage or like a liability in the event of a policy period, but for an unforeseen risk. So the important factor is here, insurance company undertakes to compensate on an unforeseen risk. So I'll take an example. So when I want to get an insurance policy for my house, so then I go to an insurance company and I request a policy. But at that time, the insurance company is not aware whether this house or the property is going to be damaged, whether this house is going to be flooded for the following day. So it is always an unforeseen risk. So in a nutshell, insurance company undertakes unforeseen risk on behalf of the insured for a premium paid by the insured. So that's the insurance arrangement. So in order to become an insurance, there are some other concepts also, Anuradhi, because when it's come to insurance, it is always based on a lot of insurance principles. It is not only the applicable laws. Insurance principles are very vital in order to formulate a contractual arrangement. So we'll, like one by one I will explain. The number one requirement is the both parties, insured and the insurer, have to have utmost good faith when the parties enter into a contractual arrangement. What do you mean by utmost good faith? It is both parties have to enter into the arrangement with clean hands. Very simply, it is always with the clean hands. So on the part of the insured, before getting the policy, insured has to disclose all material facts to the insurance company. In a similar manner, insurance company also reveal the policy conditions, whether there are exclusions, whether there are any limitations, all these things insurance company have to disclose. And the next factor is, Anuradhi, then the insured has to have an insurable interest. So what do you mean by insurable interest? Insurable interest is the policyholder has to have a lawful financial relationship with the life or the property that he wants to get the insurance cover. So I'll get an example and explain. So I can take a policy, motor insurance policy for my vehicle. So if my vehicle get damaged or if my vehicle is stolen, then I will have a financial loss. But I cannot take an insurance policy for my neighbor's vehicle. If something happens to my neighbor's vehicle, I won't be affecting for any financial loss. So always you need to have an insurable interest in order to formulate an insurance arrangement. And number 3, insurance is based on indemnity. Indemnity is insurance company always compensate you in the event of a loss or damage for the actual loss. Insurance is not for gaining profit. So always the insurance company try to restore the insured when there is a loss or damage to the original status where he was. So that's the indemnification. And there is another principle, subrogation. Subrogation is insurance company after paying this, that sometimes the whatever the losses and damages are occurred not because due to the negligence of the insured, particular insured. So that is also I will explain by way of an example. So sometimes now that I drive my vehicles, so I meet with an accident. That is not because of my negligence, but due to a negligence on completely a negligence due to other party driver. So my insurance company will compensate me, but my insurance company after compensating me has the right to get a reimbursement for the other party. That is called subrogation. And in addition to that, there is another insurance principle also, that is contribution. So I said that insurance is not meant for gaining profit. So for example, now if you have a insurance policy for your house and you are getting 2 insurance policies from 2 insurance companies, but in the event of a loss or damage, you won't be able to get the compensation, equal compensation from the both companies. So it is always indemnification. So the both companies get together and proportionately they will compensate you. And lastly, it is proximate cause. Proximate cause in the sense, very simply, the actual reason for the incident. So these are the basic principles in addition to the applicable laws. These are the basic principle which is required to formulate the insurance contract. I hope that I have answered your question.
Yes, exactly. Very much in full as well. Ma'am, now that you mentioned as well, now these are insurance principles that are in existence. Apart from that, as you mentioned, the legislature, can you please help us understand the primary laws that also govern this area?
Yes. So insurance is a regulated industry. Similar to the banking industry, insurance industry is a regulated industry. The Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka is acting as a regulator. And we are governed, all the insurance companies in Sri Lanka is governed under the Insurance Act number 43 of 2000 and subsequent amendments. Not only that, Anuradhi, and the regulator has the authority, in addition to the provisions, terms and provisions of the Act, regulator regulator from time to time, as per the requirement, can issue the circulars, directives, the directions and whatever. Then even the minister, insurance is coming under the Ministry of Finance, even the minister has the authority to issue the relevant the laws in the event of any requirement. So this is the basic, like the main area that insurance is governed. Having said that, so in addition to the Insurance Act, all the companies, being the companies, all the insurance companies have to comply with the requirements under the Companies Act number 7 of 2000. And in addition to that, mainly with regard to the motor insurance, it is the requirement is under the Motor Traffic Act. All these requirements under the Motor Traffic Act, the insurance companies have to comply. And very important factor, Anuradhi, insurance companies are also now vulnerable for money laundering. So it is like, money laundering, like in order to like clean the black money, sometimes we have experienced the people will take the insurance policies. So in order to avoid that, insurance companies have to strictly follow the rules and regulations imposed by the Financial Intelligence Unit in order to avoid money laundering. So these are the main requirements, legislations which is applicable for insurance industry other than the normal common laws.
A very important thing that you mentioned as well, ma'am, while you were responding, was that when it comes to certain insurances, the Motor Traffic Act is also related.
Correct.
Just along those lines of questioning, I want to ask you about the different distinctions that we have that are available for insurance policies as well. There's life insurance, motor vehicle insurance, and such. There's health insurance, and the list goes on. Can you help us exactly understand the legal distinctions between these types of insurances? Now, the Insurance Act in itself also exists. How does that demarcation happen, ma'am?
Yes, basically, Anuradhi, anywhere, any part of the world, insurance is basically classified into two segments. That is life insurance and non-life insurance. So when I say life insurance, the word itself, it is meant by something related to the human life. So if these life insurance are long-term policies, usually the long-term policies. So when a life insurance is issued, the insurer undertakes the risk on behalf of somebody's life. So life insurance is also, there are like so many types of life insurance policies now that are available, not like in the history, because in the history we have only like 1 or 2 types of life insurance, but with the evolvement, with the transformation and with the development of the industry, now you will have the feasibility got lot of life insurance. So like I will briefly explain about main life insurance covers. Usually the historical life insurance policy is the whole life insurance policy. So when you have a whole life insurance policy, in the event of a death, so the nominee or rather the dependents will be able to get the proceed in terms of the policy conditions under the policy. And if you have a term insurance policy, then similarly if you die like before the expiry of the policy, then your dependents will be able to get the proceed. But if you alive until the expiration, until the expiration of the policy, then after the expiration of the policy, the policy holder will be able to get the proceeds. So with this life insurance policy, now that there are provisions to get sometimes the investment policies also, because with the development, as I told, because with the evolvement of the law and the development of the law, so there are provisions for the investment policies also. So in addition to, like, other than life, every other thing is coming under the non-life insurance. So non-life insurance, like basically these non-life insurance policies are usually annual policies. So for example, these fire insurance policies, motor insurance policies, health insurance policies, or marine and cargo policies, all these things are coming under non-life insurance category. And in the insurance industry, those are the usually like historical the insurance policies, but with the development in the general sector also, non-life sector also, you will have you have the ability to get like modern insurance policies also. For example, actually these are not modern insurance policies for the European very developed market, but these insurance policies sometimes are new policies for like country like us, well, like still we are developing. So the directors and officers insurance policy, professional liability, professional indemnity policy. These policies are meant to cover any negligence, professional negligence arising out of like when you are doing a professional jobs. All these things policies are coming under the non-motor, non-life or other property and casualty insurance policies.
So I want to ask you specifically relating to a point that you mentioned, ma'am. Now there is a varying degree of insurance policies that we have available. As you mentioned, we are still developing, so we're still seeing the emergence of new categories as well. But there's one specific principle that you mentioned previously in this program as well that is quite possibly the fundamentals of being able to ensure that an insurance policy can take effect, which is uberima fides, or in good faith. Can you help us understand exactly what this phrase actually means now, coming to an agreement in good faith, and how exactly that kind of concept helps protect maybe not just the policyholder but also the insurer? Can you help us understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Anuradhi, because uberima fide or else good, the utmost good faith is a vital factor in the insurance, when you are entering into an insurance contract. Because lot of issues like at the time of a claim will happen because due to breach of this uberima fide. So what do you mean by uberima fide? Uberima fide is when it's come to the insured, this is not applicable for insured, this is applicable for both insured and the insurance company. So when it's come to the insured, insurer's duty is to disclose all material facts to the insurance company. So now, for example, now like before entering into an insurance contract, you get a proposal form to sign, and in that proposal form you have to disclose all material facts. So if you are taking an insurance policy, and this is not only for the time of taking the policy, even after during the validity period of the policy, if there is any modification, if there is any amendments happen, you have to disclose it to the insurance company. Why it is important to disclose all these material facts to the insurance company? Because depending on the facts that you reveal to the insurance company, insurer will decide whether to undertake the risk or not. So if they are undertaking the risk, depending on the facts you are revealing, then the insurance company will get the opportunity to decide the relevant premium. That is why the disclosing is very important. So like I'll take an example. When you fill the proposal form, then there is a like you want to take an insurance policy for your house, so fire insurance policy, and if there is a question to like fill like whether there is a flood or a water, not flood, whether there is a water stream nearby the business premises or the house, then you have to complete. If there is a water stream, you have to say yes. And similarly, when you are getting a life insurance policy, there are questions to ask, like whether you have that the existing the sicknesses, whether you are taking any medicines. So all these things, the insurance, the policyholder, proposer has to very honestly, very transparently, they have to disclose the facts. So otherwise what will happen now is that these problems will arise in the event of a claim. So in the event of a claim, the insurance company will get to know that okay, before at the time of getting the policy also you are suffering from illnesses. So then it might lead to cancellation, rejection of your claims. So when it's come to this, is I talked about the part of the insured. And similarly, insurance company also have to have like several responsibilities when it's come to utmost good faith or rather uberima fide. Insurance company has to very clearly inform about the terms and conditions of the policy. It is not only the insurance company, Anuradhi, because when it's come to insurance, in addition to the insurance companies, there are two other main segments, that is brokers and agents. So these brokers and agents also act on behalf of the insurance companies. So when any person going to a broker or an agent, that's their responsibility also to explain the terms and conditions, and also more particularly with regard to the exclusions, because insurers will not cover everything, because there are sometimes limitations. So for example, like some policies, the natural disasters won't be covered, and when it's come to life insurance policies, the committing suicide or rather like some occupation may not be covered. So those things at the outset, it is the responsibility of the insurer to disclose the facts. This is what we call uberima fide, like a very vital factor when it's come to an insurance.
Yes, I want to get to the specifics relating to the handling of disputes as well, and also the legal obligations that are owed to either side of the party when it comes to handling insurance policy claims. But before we get into any of the specifics relating to that, and also about the practical implications and public awareness as well, we have to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back after this. You're watching Lawland and Liberty. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Nirosha and currently I'm a fourth year undergraduate at University of Colombo, majoring in international relations. So my question is on the current context. How do the laws approach disaster situations? Thank you.
Welcome back to Lawland and Liberty here on Other Derana News Channel. We're in conversation with Ms. Nirosha Perera, attorney at law. We just got done speaking about the fundamentals of insurance law in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the previous segment. I believe we were able to cover a lot of ground when it comes to the absolute basics of where the law lies and what principles are relevant when it comes to the insurance landscape in Sri Lanka. But moving towards the end, I believe we got very much close to the specifics that are consistently being debated and actually trying to be understood by the layman across the country, relating to the nitty-gritties of how exactly a claim works, the processing of a claim. Can you help us understand in this section where we want to focus about the rights and obligations as well as the handling of disputes, starting us off with what exactly, when it comes to not just to prima fides, but also the principles that have to be upheld by insurers in order to ensure transparency and to make sure that an actual successful claim goes through, especially when it comes to the settlement of claims as well. Can you help us understand exactly what governs that area?
Yes, Anuradhi. So as I said, the most important factor a policyholder expects from an insurance company is to give solutions when there is a damage or when there is a need, so to give a solution for that. That is the expectation of any policyholder. So there is a vast responsibility lying on the insurance company when it's come to claim settlement. So at the outset, the insurance company, I have specified earlier, insurance company has to be very transparent about their underwriting policies. So about their exclusions, about their limitations. So before a person is getting into an insurance contract, all these things have to be very clearly notified to the insurance person. So after getting the policy, then the next step is the policyholder will come to the insurance company in the event of a claim. Otherwise, they will wait until the next renewal of the policy. So when there is a claim, so insurance company have to promptly analyze the claims. They can't get undue delays for the settlement of claims, because the people are in need of that claim settlement. If something happened to your vehicle, it is your expectation to restore your vehicle into original position as soon as possible. So even the regulator, there are regulations applicable for the insurance companies with the claim settlements. Having said that, Anuradhi, sometimes what happens is there is a responsibility lying on the policyholder also, because in the event, in order to settle the claim, insurance company has to be provided with the requirement, with the relevant information, because the insurance company is also analyzing the claim based on the evidence, based on the information. So it is the responsibility of the policyholder also to give their support and to be cooperative when there is a claim settlement. Sometimes the insurance companies, they appoint investigators, the claims experts to analyze the claims. At that time, the expectation of the insurance company is to get the maximum support from the policyholder. So if it is done, then if the policyholder divulges the truth, so then the insurance company will be very easy to settle the claim. So that is the mechanism of claim settlement in the insurance industry.
When it comes to specifically, ma'am, the duties that are owed by either party to now from the claimants to the insurers. There is a little bit of a grey area that we want to help understand, specifically when it comes to the updating of information, and as you mentioned now, when it comes to coming in utmost good faith, there's a lot of transparency that's required there as well. What exactly are the duties of the insured party when it comes to ensuring that a successful claim can take place if in the event it is necessary, the prior steps when filing for an insurance policy as well? Can you tell us a little bit more in detail about that?
Very important question, Anuradhi, because as I told, there are a lot of responsibilities lying on the part of the insured, also the policyholder. The insured, first of all, insured has to make whatever the applicable premium promptly. Sometimes the insured may be granted like a certain credit period to pay the relevant the premium, but no before the due date the premium has to be settled. What happens if the premium is not settled? Then the insurance policy will become null and void. So at the time of a claim, if the relevant premium is not paid, the insurance company is not insurance companies do not have the responsibility to honor a claim. So that's the one responsibility of the policyholder. And also with regard to the disclosure of facts, at the outset I have explained, it is not only when you are entering into the policy. For example, now you take a policy for your business premises, fire policy, you are taking a business premises. And during the period of the policy period, you are shifting that business premises to another location. So it has to be divulged very promptly. It has to be notified to the insurance company, because if you do not notify to the insurance company, so we'll assume that there is a damage to that particular business premises. So at the time of the claim, the business premises is located somewhere else. So on that instance, the insurance company may reject a claim. So these are the very prominent important factors, the policyholder, in terms of the policyholder's responsibilities, which has to be adopted. So if these things are adopted, then there will not be a problem, there will not be an issue at the time of settling a claim.
I want to ask you, ma'am, especially relating to that point, as you very rightly said, in order to prevent disputes, we need to be as transparent as possible on either side to ensure proper communication. Now, in an unfortunate circumstance where there is a dispute that arises, can you help us understand in a practical sense what exactly is the process in handling grievances as such?
Yeah. There are several mechanisms, Anuradhi, because in the insurance sector, in order to handle the disputes and in order to give a solution in the event of a dispute, there are several mechanisms. So one is mainly the insurance, the policyholder has to have a very good conversation with the insurance company. If the claim is rejected, he or she has every right to speak to the insurer and to get the clear explanation why his or her claim is rejected. But if he doesn't got a acceptable answer, and there is an insurance ombudsman in the insurance industry. This is a very straightforward mechanism. The insurance ombudsman then will listen to the both parties and try to give a amicable solution. And also the insurance policyholder has every right to refer the dispute to the insurance regulator, because insurance regulator has the authority to involve with the claims settlement. So the insurance regulator will call both parties and analyze the documents, will listen to the both parties and try to give a solution. If all these mechanisms are failed, so similar to any other industry, the policyholder can refer the matter to a competent court in Sri Lanka, because either the district court or the commercial high court. So then the party can seek the solution from a competent court of Sri Lanka. So these are the usual mechanism that we are adopting in order to dispute resolution, give solution for the dispute when there is a dispute.
Yes, ma'am, relating to dispute resolution as well, I want to ask you a little bit of a question building on that, especially considering the types of remedies that are available when it comes to resolving such disputes. In your personal opinion and in your experience, what have you seen as the most effective means or the most sought after means of actually handling and helping settle claims and disputes, especially in your experience?
Yes, with regard to the dispute mechanism, because as per my experience, all these mechanism will give the solutions. Because like after speaking to the insurance company, because the insurance company has the responsibility, as I told you, because we are to explain because sometimes the people won't understand like why their claim is rejected, because claim sometimes even you get a policy, Anuradhi, sometimes you think that everything is covered. For example, now if you get a motor vehicle and at the time of the accident, like if you meet with an accident and at the time of the accident, if you are drunk, then the insurance company won't settle the claim. So then sometimes the people do not understand why the claim is not paid. So sometimes like you get a policy. So you think that in the event of a flood, this is covered, which is not. Because that particular cover has to be embedded into the policy. So all these things, the covers, in addition to the basic covers, sometimes these additional covers has to be additionally have to be taken by the policyholder. So
there is an understanding there that we need to know that it's not that one policy will cover everything.
Exactly.
It's not an umbrella policy. There are specifics, especially considering the current context that we're in as well. There could be damages to homes due to the prevailing climate conditions.
Yes.
But that does not mean that the already existing insurance policy that we opted for would have already covered those bases. So that's probably why this conversation itself is important to have in order to gain public awareness.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, ma'am, relating now on the same note, the most common legal claims that you have seen when it comes to the grounds of rejections. Can you help us understand exactly how common certain aspect areas are that you have seen in your professional experience where claims have been rejected, and also instances where maybe insurance policy holders have tried to rebut those claims and deemed as an unfair dismissal? Can you give us some experience on that?
Yes, Anuradhi. So mainly the claims like as per my experience, like what I have experienced is the claims can be rejected due to misrepresentation of facts, because the policyholder does not divulge the correct facts. So sometimes what happens is, like when it comes to motor insurance, we have like very commonly we see that the facts are misrepresented. Sometimes the particular driver, if the driver is drunk, the policyholder will produce another driver as the driver who have driven the vehicle. So these are the like a misrepresentation of facts is one of the main factors what I have seen in my career in the insurance industry. And also with regard to the exclusions, as I told you, because if in the event of a dispute, in the event of a claim, if that particular incident is coming under exclusion of the property, the policy, then it is not covered, Anuradhi. So as I told you, because sometimes the policyholder does not aware about the exclusions. And also one other factor is non-payment of the premium. If the premium is not paid, then the claim is not settled properly. So in addition to that, sometimes there could be limitations under the policy, because like you think that this is like this much has to be paid under my policy, which is not. There could be limitations under the policy. And in addition to that, breach of terms and conditions of the policy. Sometimes when you get a policy, sometimes the insurance company, based on the facts that you reveal to the insurance company, there could be additional terms and conditions. But at the time of a claim, so when the claim is analyzed, if these terms and conditions are not met, are not fulfilled, then it might lead to the rejection of a claim. But having said that, like once this is in the event of a claim rejection, the policyholder has to have every right to get the clarification, from the insured. And in addition to that, which I explained earlier, he can go through the mechanism what I have informed, like the insurance ombudsman and the insurance regulator. So failing which if everything is failed, then he can seek the remedy from the competent court of Sri Lanka. So these are the remedies that are available for a policyholder.
Yes, and there's a very important point in that as well, ma'am. As you mentioned now, people that feel injustice have the court system and multiple other avenues in order to settle their grievances. But on the flip side of the coin, there's also the threat towards insurance policy institutions with fraudulent claims and as you mentioned previously also money laundering that could occur through insurance policies. Before we get into any of those specifics and also on the practical and public awareness aspect of this discussion, we do have to go in for a short commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. You're watching Lawland and Liberty.
Hello, my name is Venuka Vijayasinghe and I'm a student from Sri Lanka Law College. So my question is on awareness. What are the key legal features individuals should be vigilant of when concerning insurance? Thank you.
Welcome back to Lawland and Liberty. We're in our final segment here in conversation with Ms. Nirosha Perera, attorney at law, on the fundamentals and the current context when it comes to insurance policy and insurance law in the country. Thank you once again, ma'am. This is our final segment. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, but what we spoke about just before the commercial break is the flip side of the coin, the fraudulence that could occur through insurance policy schemes. This is not something that the general public is unaware of. We have seen constant issues popping up in all parts of the globe where insurance policies are, there's malpractice when it comes to the claimant's end as well, and it's almost manipulated in order to cause some sort of financial advantage for a certain individual. Can you help us understand, when it comes to an insurance policy institution as well, what are the biggest growing concerns when it comes to fraudulence in that sector, and how exactly does Sri Lankan law help address these kinds of fraudulences in order to help protect these institutions and also credible claimants that are unsuspicious and to prevent unnecessary suspicion?
Yes, very vital question in today's context, Anuradhi. Because fraudulence claims, like in my personal view, is that fraudulent claims have been tremendously increased. So doing a fraud is an offence. It's under the common law. It is an offence. It is a civil offence, and it might lead to a criminal offence also. And when there is a fraudulent claim is submitted to the insurance company, because insurance companies also scrutinize the facts available and submitted by the policyholder in the event of a claim. Sometimes they appoint claim loss adjusters, sometimes they appoint the investigators. So in the event of a fraudulent claim, definitely the policyholder will not be able to fulfill their expectation under the policy, because it is not a acceptable claim. So the definitely claim might be rejected. And in order to when I say that fraudulent claims are rejected, this is not to make an hassle for the genuine policyholders. So whilst insurance companies appointing the investigators for the genuine claim, the insurer's responsibility is to settle the genuine claims as much as possible. So those claims, the genuine customers should not be penalized due to the fraudulent claims imposed by the other customers. So my personal view is the insurance company has a big responsibility to identify these two categories. So whilst rejecting the claims of the fraudulent fraudsters, the genuine customers' claims have to be fulfilled as much as possible without delays.
Yes, and now moving on to one of the most important points of this discussion, specifically in today's context as well, with the climatic conditions that we've had and multiple discussions relating to insurance policy. When it comes to the general public, for a layman to understand, ma'am, if you could help us explain what the most essential features are when it comes to an insurance policy agreement. What are the claims and the terms of the agreement? What clauses must be absolutely read and understood well by any member of the public that's attempting to enter into an insurance policy agreement with an insurer? What are the most important things of etiquette that actually a claimant should maybe look forward to before entering into an insurance policy?
Yes, Anuradhi. As I in the outset also I have explained, it is very important to understand the terms and conditions of the policy. Sometimes in a layman may not be able to understand this legal jargons, the language of the policy, but the person who wants to get an policy has every right to speak to their relevant insurer, or rather the broker or the agent, whoever the person who solicits or procure an insurance policy. So they have the right to, the policyholder has the right to consult them and try to understand what is like written in this policy. And the policy is coming with the schedule also. So particularly, not with regard to the terms and conditions of the policy, the policy, particularly the insurance policyholder has to have a good knowledge with regard to the exclusions, because at the end of the day, policyholder might think that everything is covered, which is not. So it is the responsibility of the policyholder also to try to get to understand what he wants to take. So read the policy. Like always, my advice is, if the person does not understand, like speak to the insurance company and get the knowledge about that. And Anuradhi, like here, like very important factor is like because as I said that sometimes it is difficult to get the understanding about these terms and policy conditions, but with regard to that, the insurance regulator has imposed some requirements also, because with the policy it will be implemented very soon. With the policy, the insurance are required to give like a summary with regard to the policy, each policy, in that summary in a very simple language. So what is this policy about, and what is the policy what is the policy the covers under the policy, and what are the exclusions under the policy. So all these things, if there are any limitations, in a very simple language with the policy, insurance very soon the policyholders will be having the opportunity to get like a small the description in a nutshell, yes, with the policy. So it will be really helpful for the policyholders in order to get a better understanding about the terms and conditions of the policy.
Yes, and finally, we are running out of time. Hopefully, we'll have time to fit another question in, but a very essential question. In light of the recent situation that occurred in the country as well, ma'am, there might be, as you mentioned, certain extensions to the policy that can be added separately to the actual original policy that has been issued to an insurer. Can you give our audience a few words of advice relating to now unforeseen circumstances such as these? What exactly should an individual be doing proactively in order to ensure that they remain insured against certain disaster responses, or maybe in the current in light of the current context as well, what are the most key pieces of information that you want to divulge and to keep the public in the know of?
Yes. Before answering that question, Anuradhi, I would like to briefly touch about the insurance industry today, because insurance industry now at the moment, currently we are having about 29 insurance companies in the industry. But if you take the insurance as a percentage of GDP, it's still only 1.08%. So you can understand there is a big vacuum in the insurance industry, and there are a lot of areas to be developed compared to not compared to the European countries, but when we compare to the other parts of the Asian countries also, we are at a very lower level. So insurance, the people are not like the motor insurance policy is taken because it's a mandatory cover, like, in terms of the law. The insurance for your motor vehicle, there should be a vehicle, at least a third-party insurance cover. But other than that, people are very reluctant to get a policy because there are some other priorities that they have to meet. And having said that, in order to we have experienced very unfortunate disaster very recently. That's why the insurance has become a very vital topic these days. In order to get a better understanding about this, in order to have a better benefits under the insurance policy, you need to relook at your policies. You have to revisit your policies, and you have to first think like what are the things that you want to cover. So if you have not included the flood covers, if you have not included the terrorism cover, if you have not included the strike right and commodity covers, then you have the option to either to add these the requirements under the policy, or else once the renewal comes, to request those requirements under the policy. And also, Anuradhi, you have to keep live your policy. You have to make the premium on time, because otherwise the policies your claim won't be settled at the time when you need it most. So you have to keep live the policy. And also you have to understand, as I said, you have to understand the policy conditions. And also, with regard to this recent flood and everything, you have to divulge all these modifications or the amendments, the improvements under the policy that, like, if you have insured a property, your property, if there is modification, it has to be notified to the insurance company. By doing so in the event of a claim, you won't get a surprise. So you will be able to, without a hassle, to get your claim settled by the insurance company. So that is my personal advice. So after experience this disaster, because at the moment the insurance companies day and night, so they are working to give the solution to their policyholders. So that's my advice to all policyholders and all the Sri Lankan people.
All right. Unfortunately, we do have to put a stop to this discussion because we have come to time when it comes to the permitted amount of time that we have to discuss this, despite there being quite a vast area that we can get into the specifics of. I believe we were able to successfully cover as much ground as possible when it comes to the absolute fundamentals of insurance law and the most important things that citizens and viewers need to understand when it comes to insurance policies as well. So thank you very much once again, ma'am, for taking the time to come to the studio. I really appreciate your time here today.
Thank you very much, Anuradhi, and thank you very much to TV Derana also for giving me the opportunity once again. Thank you so much.
And we leave you tonight with the words of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. There are risks and costs to a program of action, but they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. That's all we have for you tonight. You can always rewatch by catching us on our YouTube page, and we value your opinion as always, so please share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.adncenglish@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076 805 7933. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.